Greetings once more, odds and ensers, in and outers, like and subbers, twist and shouters. Espionage DB7 here, the one, the only highly rated, armor-plated, imitated, but never ever duplicated Espionage DB7, coming at you with another video on the Steam Deck. Now, originally, this was going to be a very, very different video. As a matter of fact, this was originally going to be a video about how, after 2 months, everything I've been doing and enjoying with the Steam Deck. And unfortunately, that's not going to be what the end product of this video is going to be. Because I am sorry to say that just after 2 months of having and owning and playing with the Steam Deck, mine has unfortunately died. That's right, this thing has basically been bricked and is now a $420 something paperweight. The irony of this is this happened while I was filming a video showcasing some of what I had been doing with the Steam Deck. Essentially, I was going to talk about how I've been using it for emulation. I was using it to view all my favorite streaming services. I was going to show off how you can view your streaming services as if they were, just regular apps on the Steam Deck without having to open up your browser and then navigate to each one. I was going to show kind of how to do that, how to set up an Emu Deck, talk about the Heroic Games Launcher, which is something that can be used in order to play your GOG games or your GOG games and your Epic Store games, as well as other stuff, even making phone calls off of the Steam Deck. And while I was doing that, while I was trying to film the footage for stuff I was doing, I tried loading up Need for Speed Heat, of all things. Now, I'm not saying that Need for Speed Heat is what did it, but I tried loading it up and it would not launch. So I don't know why. I had launched it before, I had played it flawlessly, so I decided to go ahead and just restart the Steam Deck. So I went to the power option, the settings, power options, restart, and from there, now whenever I push the power button, you'll see the static Steam Deck logo here, but it'll never do anything more than that. Eventually this will go away and it'll fade to a solid black screen that sort of blinks on and off intermittently, and it'll never ever power on. There it goes, and it'll never come on from this. It'll just stay stuck there. See, there it goes. I don't know if you could see on the camera, but it kind of turned. There it goes again. So it just kind of blinks on and blinks off. Now, I went on to some of the forums that I found, such as on the Steam community forums, as well as things like Reddit and stuff. They suggested using pressing and holding the power button as well as the volume up key, which loads up the boot manager. However, I didn't really want to mess with that without contacting Valve support, because I don't want to void the warranty or anything. So I actually have contacted Valve support, and this was their response. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the actual ticket that I submitted to Valve, and it kind of goes over the situation that I was having in a little bit more detail. Obviously, you can see I have all my personal information blurred out, but to read the ticket that I inputted to you, my Steam Deck seems to have stopped functioning all of a sudden. I was having issues loading up a game, Need for Speed Heat to be specific. It wasn't loading up, so I decided to try to restart. Upon trying to restart, the deck will not boot up at all. It shows the static Steam Deck logo and then goes to a blank black screen that seems to flicker off and on occasionally, but the operating system will never load up. I have tried rebooting numerous times, including holding the power button down for 12 seconds and trying to boot up through the BIOS boot screen, but nothing seems to lead to a successful boot up. I know the battery is not dead, as I was at 89% just before restarting. I have already done a significant amount of customization to my Steam Deck, and so if there was a way to fix this without having to send it back, that would be great. And here we have the response from Charlie on the Steam support team. Hello, thank you for contacting Steam support. Don't worry, before determine whether if your Steam Deck if your deck will be sending back to repair center or not, let's try some troubleshooting first. Your Steam Deck may not have enough charge to boot, which again I mentioned that was probably not the case, but whatever. First, make sure you're using the provided power supply unit PSU and don't have any docks, hubs, SD cards, or other peripherals connected to your Steam Deck. Start by plugging it in using the provided PSU. A solid white LED indicates the Steam Deck is drawing power. Leave it charging for a while and try again. If the LED remains off or is blinking, then the deck is not receiving power. Please try the following. Unplug and replug your PSU from the Steam Deck. Wiggle the plug a little to ensure it's plugged in all the way. Try plugging the PSU into a different power outlet in your wall. Try an alternate USB-C PSU if you have one available. What is the status of the white LED after trying the above? It would also be useful to us if you can confirm whether you've made any modifications to your device recently, such as opening the unit, changing BIOS and or system settings, or installing any third-party software or tools. Looking forward to your reply. Steam support, Charlie. So I actually went ahead and tried this that Charlie suggested, and this was my response. This did not resolve the issue. When plugged in without any sort of peripherals or SD cards, the behavior is completely unchanged. When I attempt to power on, the static Steam Deck logo will display for a brief moment, then go to a solid black screen that seems to blink on and off intermittently. And then it will just stay like that and never boot up. I have tried several different USB-C cords, including the one that came with the device, plugged into various outlets, and they all seem to work fine. When plugged in, the white LED will remain in a solid lit state. And as I indicated before, I do not believe this to be an issue of charge, as when I began having this issue, the device was at 89%. I have not opened the device at all, and that is true. I have not made any changes to the BIOS or system setting. Again, true. The only thing I did do after this issue began was holding down the volume plus and power button to bring up the BIOS boot screen, hoping to find maybe a safe mode option or something. When I did not see such an option, I simply hit continue to try to boot normally, which resulted in the same issue. As far as third-party software goes, nothing unusual. I've installed things like Discord, OBS, Open Broadcast Software, EmuDeck for emulation, and Heroic Games Launcher so I could play my Epic/GOG games. All these items worked fine and have been installed for quite some time now with no issue, and they all worked fine. The issue only began when I tried to run a Steam installed game, which I'd run before, called Need for Speed Heat. The game would not load and kept crashing back to the game page, so I decided to try to restart by going to the system settings, power, restart option, and that's the last time I ever saw the Steam interface screen. So after that, this was the Steam support response, which I guess at this point now comes from Sandler. I'm no longer dealing with old Charlie boy, but this is the response. Hello. Thank you for providing the requested information. Please try temporarily switching your Steam Deck into battery storage mode. This can address potential issues with the deck's firmware, which could be causing the issue you are seeing. Disconnect all external devices connectors from the device and make sure you can still produce the issue. That's not a problem. I can still produce the issue. If so, please try putting the unit into shipping mode. Power the Steam Deck down normally. Choose shut down from the power menu, which I don't even have access to a menu. Hold the volume plus button down and press the power button once. Continue holding the volume plus button until you hear the system chime. Then release and wait. The Steam Deck should boot into the BIOS menu within a couple of minutes. Using the D-pad and A to select, navigate to Setup Utility, navigate to Power Menu, choose Battery Storage Mode, and confirm. You should see the Steam Deck power off and the LED will blink 3 times to confirm battery storage mode. Wait a few minutes, then plug the Steam Deck into the provided power supply and turn on the Steam Deck. After turning on the deck, retest the issue. If this doesn't resolve the issue, you will want to try to re-image the device using the instructions available here, and then retest again after the re-image. Note, if you are unable to complete the re-image process or do not have a USB drive/key or SD card to create the boot disk recovery image, please let us know. Steam support, Sandler. So I haven't actually gone through this next step of the process, which they want me to do. I'm actually going to do that now and see how this turns out. I'm not too worried because obviously I've only had it for, just over 2 months. So I'm sure that it's, they'll replace it if this doesn't work. It is kind of a shitty situation because of everything. I literally have my Steam Deck set up just the way I want. I got some games that supposedly did not work, such as things like Fallout 76. I actually got that to work flawlessly with the Steam Deck using I don't remember exactly what it's called. There's something else I was gonna go over, which again, since I can't access my Steam Deck, I can't, but some additional Proton compatibility tools that I was able to utilize to get other games to work. So I was gonna talk about all of that, but I don't know if maybe that had something to do with it. But anyway, before I get into this next step that Valve customer support wants me to do, I did also want to mention one other big issue that I have been having with the Steam Deck, which is that even though I have a 1 terabyte SD card that was pretty much where I was storing all of my games, the built-in storage, the hard drive built into the Steam Deck, was actually filling up rather completely. And as a matter of fact, I'm not sure if that's what caused it. Well, apparently with the Steam Deck, one common issue, because I actually did find this question posted throughout several spaces on the internet as well as Reddit, and as a matter of fact, there is some fixes that you can do, but one of the common issues with Steam Deck, especially if you have the smaller 64 gigabyte one, which I have, is anytime that you install a game and then uninstall it, some of the shader data stays behind. It remains on the storage and takes up that space. So obviously a lot of the games that I've been installing are games that maybe not, that I wasn't going to necessarily play right there and then or soon. I just wanted to see if they worked and if they were compatible. So I guess, installing it and then uninstalling it was causing this space storage issue, which in and of itself sucks, because you would think if you uninstall the game, it should take all the traces of the game off, including shader data or whatever it is that stayed behind. I mean, supposedly all your save games get stored to the cloud, so it shouldn't really leave any trace of the game behind on the system. That's going to cause these space storage issues, which is something that it did do. So that's another fallback. I literally, before this happened, I had nothing but praises to sing about this thing. I have been loving it. I've been talking Ob's and Nick's ear off and Rings and Val's ear off about it. I've been loving it. I had nothing but praises. I was going to mention that little storage issue, but it was not anything that was going to be a huge detractor from my 2-month in review. And unfortunately now, because it has simply died off on me,
this whole thing fucking sucks. I mean, this is the biggest pile of shit. Order. Your Honor. Your Honor. Order. Your Honor. Your Honor.
Alrighty, so what we're going to go ahead and try to do now is, as Sandler suggested, we're going to try to put the Steam Deck into battery storage mode. So I'm going to follow the steps that he provided, and hopefully this will do something to, get this booted and working again. So hopefully this, to any of you out there that own your own Steam Decks, hopefully this doesn't happen to you, but I'm gonna go through this process so that if it does happen and Sandler's advice turns out to be something that actually fixes it or gets it going again, that way it's something that y'all can try, knowing that this came directly from Valve support. Now, I am not telling you to do it. Everybody's situation is different. So, if it's something that you think you should contact Valve support, please do. Don't take my word for it. This is just something that I was told to do for my issue. And if you have something similar, it might just be helpful information for you. So anyway, he says to disconnect all external devices and connectors, which I have. I have powered the Steam Deck down, and he says to hold the volume plus button down and press the power button once. Continue holding the volume button until you hear the system chime. So let's go ahead and try that. Holding the volume button and pressing power. Okay, I've heard the chime. Okay. So as you can see here, we are in boot mode. I'm not sure. Let's hang on one sec because I don't have the. All right, that I know that's not the best visual for you, but basically I have a continue, boot manager, boot from file, and setup utility. So he says using the D-pad and A button, navigate to setup utility, which is this, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Navigate to the power menu. Okay, navigate to the power menu, choose battery storage mode and confirm. Okay, battery storage mode and press A. System will be powered down if you select yes. Do you want to proceed? Okay, so yes. And it says you should see the Steam Deck power off and the power LED will blink 3 times. I think we missed one, but that looks like it was 3 times. To confirm battery storage mode, wait a few minutes, then plug the Steam Deck into the provided power supply and turn on the Steam Deck. After turning on the deck, retest the issue. A few minutes, I'll go ahead and give it about 2 minutes or so, and we'll be right back to see if this has worked. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes now. I do have a USB-C power cable here, and it says to go ahead and plug this cable in and then retest the issue. So I'm plugging it in. Okay, as you can see, LED indicator is showing that it is receiving power, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Oh, actually, I didn't even press the button yet. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, I didn't even press the button. I was about to. I had my finger literally on the button, but haven't pressed yet, so. Moment of truth. It seems it's doing the same thing. Yeah, it's just going to the same blinking black screen over and over again. All right, so Sandler gave me another thing to do. If this doesn't resolve the issue, you will want to try to re-image the device using the instructions available here. So I guess we're going to go ahead and try that, see if that's something I can do. Otherwise, if this does not work, I am going to have to RMA this device and get it sent back to me. But I will be right back with some more information on that. Alrighty, so using the instructions provided by Valve and Steam Support and Sandler, I've gone ahead and created a boot disk here so that I can try to get my Steam Deck to boot. Now I will include the instructions along with the software that they provide, which is the actual SteamOS image to be mounted, and the software that is used to create the boot disk, something called Rufus. I'll go ahead and provide the links. All of these links are straight from the Steam page. And I will say that according to this, it does have a few recovery options. One to re-image the Steam Deck completely. This will perform a full factory reset. And then one that will reinstall SteamOS while attempting to preserve my games and personal content. So I'm actually going to try to do that, just to reinstall the SteamOS without having to wipe everything completely, because if it does come down to that, if it does come down to having to wipe everything completely, then I'd rather have the Steam Deck itself completely RMA'd. I'd rather have a brand new one or a completely repaired one sent to me, because if I'm going to go through the trouble of completely wiping everything, then might as well start fresh from scratch with a brand new model, right? So anyway, we're going to go ahead and go through these instructions. So I've gone ahead and prepared the boot disk, and it says to use a USB-C adapter or hub to plug the boot disk in, but this actual USB has little SD cards that it can use, so I assume that I can go ahead and just take the SD card out and mount it onto the Steam Deck and use that to boot from. So let's go ahead and get this in there. Alright, so it says if it isn't already off, go ahead and unplug everything, shut down your Steam Deck, and hold volume down and click the power button when you hear the chime. Let go of the volume down button and you'll be sent to the boot manager. So this time says volume down, not volume up. So let's go ahead and try that. Holding volume down. Alright. And I am trying to load up. Alright, so here we go. Hard drive. Yes, so here is the SDMMC card. So in the boot manager, boot from EFI USB device, your USB key. Well, in this case, we're going to go ahead and boot from the SD card. Okay, the screen will go dark while it's booting. Give it a minute. Once booted, you will be in a desktop environment. You can navigate the trackpad and trigger, and then it'll go to the recovery option. So let's see if it actually does that. Okay. So again, I had nothing but praises to sing about the Steam Deck, and technically I still do. I understand that the Steam Deck isn't a console per se. You know, it's not something, you can't really compare it to like a Nintendo Switch or a PS5. It's for all intents and purposes, it is a personal computer. It's more reminiscent of a computer than any kind of console. It is what it is. And computers, as any computer person will tell you, are fickle things. You know, they run into errors, they run into system crashes, and things of that nature. Things do go bad. So I totally understand that. It's just a shame because I really have been loving this thing. I absolutely am in love with my Steam Deck, and I've been kind of suffering from withdrawal because of the fact that I haven't been able to play it for a few days now. I didn't want to go through this process without first, you know, actually making a video. I wanted to share my experience with it so that anybody else who does have a Steam Deck, you know, is aware of, you know, some of the issues that I've been through. So I'm hoping that this has been at least somewhat enlightening for you. I'm going to go ahead and pause this here. It looks like it might take a little while, so once it actually comes to a boot screen or something, we will see what options we have. Okay, so I see that it looks like a mouse cursor. Oh, here we go. We got something. We got something going on. Yeah, I saw a mouse cursor appear on the screen. Yep, this is in a desktop environment, as it said. And it said that reinstalling SteamOS will attempt to preserve your game and personal content. Clear local reformats all partitions. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and try to reinstall the SteamOS and see if that helps us out. This I know you can't really see that there, but it says this action will reinstall SteamOS on the Steam Deck while attempting to preserve your games and personal content. Choose proceed to reinstall. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and proceed. Alright, well, it's doing something. So we're gonna give it its time and all that to do its thing. And once it's done, I will resume the video again. So we'll see what this results in. Okay, so it looks like our boot installation is complete. So I got a message here that says SteamOS reinstall complete. Choose proceed to reboot the Steam Deck now, or cancel to stay in the repair image. So we're going to go ahead and proceed to the reboot, and hopefully this will have fixed the Steam Deck. So again, you know, I'm making this video originally, and I had already recorded some footage. I was going to make a video just showing, you know, all the versatility that the Steam Deck provides, everything that you can do with it, everything that I've done with it, and some guides and instructions on, you know, how to do that yourself. I think I'm going to hold off. If this works, I'm going to hold off on that, because even though I didn't do anything like too crazy or out of the ordinary, I don't... What is this? SteamOS Steam Deck login. What the hell is that? So, it just went away and came back. It's saying Steam Deck login. I'm not sure if you can see that there. No, not really. I don't know what the hell this is. And as far as the instructions go, they end with this. So this should have done something to fix it. I wonder if it's still trying to boot up from the SD card. I didn't take that out. Shoot. Well, again, you know, I wanted to kind of show some of the perils or problems that you might run into with your own Steam Decks. As you can see, I'm having, you know, some of my own here. SteamOS 5.13 Valve, blah blah blah, Neptune, something yada yada syntax, and then Steam Deck login. So it's just stuck there. So what I'm gonna do, because I don't know if it's trying to boot from the SD card again, I'm actually gonna remove this SD card and I'm gonna turn it off and try one more time. Okay, let's try this one more time. So if this doesn't work, which I'm kind of doubting that it will based on that, this is something that I am going to go ahead and get sent off to Valve. I'm going to get this RMA'd, hopefully get a replacement one. But yeah, definitely a disappointment. Let's see what happens. And this time it doesn't really look like anything is happening. Nope, it does the same exact thing. Okay, so it's a brick. Yeah, it's a dud. Well, yeah, no, it just kind of blinks and goes off. So yeah, at this point, I'm going to start the process to get get it sent back to me, because this does not seem to be working. It's a damn shame. Like I said, I until this happened, I had nothing but positive, glowing things to say about this device, and technically I still do. You know, I when it works, it's bloody fantastic. I absolutely love it. But given the circumstances, unfortunately, my glowing review will have to be held off upon. I plan to make another video detailing how easy or difficult it is to actually get this one replaced, and whether or not I have any more of the same issues with the new one that I get. So expect that video in the days or weeks to come. But yeah, I love the Steam Deck when it works, but definitely I'm gonna see about getting it replaced. And unfortunately, I was not able to fix it, despite the detailed instructions and following them to what I believe to be the letter. But anyway, this has been another Odds and Ends gaming video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will follow up with this to see where I end up. But for now, yeah, broken Steam Deck, brick, paperweight, whatnot. Sucks, but c'est la vie. Anyway, I have been the one, the only, highly rated, armor-plated, imitated, but never ever duplicated Espionage DB7. And take it easy and settle down. Bye-bye.